It is time to check in with Carmi Levy, CTV tech analyst, who joins us every Thursday afternoon at about this time. So, Carmi, let me start out with this story because I see this making news these days. Instagram, after a great deal of criticism, and they're not the only ones, have finally decided to introduce what they call mandatory teen accounts with built-in limits, parental controls. What does this really mean?
What it means is that if you set up an account starting today with on Instagram for anyone who's under 18 years old, by default, it will be set to private. So that limits who can find them, who can message them. It also limits the algorithm so that they can't see objectionable material. They can't see violence. They can't see things that would be questionable for a child. And if you already have an Instagram account and you're 18 and under, over the next couple of months, the company is going to roll out an update that flips them all automatically over to private mode as well. They're also introducing some new features to the parental controls. They started introducing those a couple of years ago, but this is a significant upgrade. Basically what it does, it allows mom and dad to see who they're communicating with in the messenger component of Instagram. So they can only see the names, not the actual content of the message. But if they see, I know that person, that's my child's friend, but I don't recognize that name, that can kind of be the prompts for a conversation. It also allows them to see what things their kids are searching for online, what topics. It allows them to see what they're following online, and also kind of, again, just a little bit more transparency for mom and dad to ensure that they kind of know what's going on in their kids' digital life, at least as long as they're using Instagram. And finally, there's a sleep mode, which from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., it will put the app into silent mode, so no notifications or anything like that. And parents can, of course, change that. They can make them tighter. They can loosen the restrictions or remove them entirely. They can also add screen time limits, so a maximum of however many hours per day. And if the kids want to change them, they can, but mom and dad are going to know because the app will let them know through the linked app. So bottom line is, rather than forcing people to go into the settings to turn these features on, they're going to be turned on by default, which means unlike other apps with similar controls on them, these are actually going to get used.
Do we like this? Do you think this is going to work?
Know what? It's better than nothing. It's better than what we had before. But look, I've got 3 kids. We went through this with them, not only on Instagram, but on every other social media app. And the sad truth of the matter is that no single change to any single app is going to magically solve the digital safety problem for our kids. And that really comes down to mom and dad being transparent, mom and dad not being aggressive or adversarial, not threatening to punish them if they do something. It has to be non-judgmental. It has to be a trust relationship, and your kids have to feel safe coming to you to talk about what they're experiencing online. And the instant that you kind of you tell them, I'm going to take the phone away, or you threaten in that manner, is the moment that they're going to go underground. They'll set up additional Instagram accounts, so-called fake Instagram accounts, and you won't even know what they're doing online. So the answer to this, a technology is a good thing, but the ultimate answer isn't really a technology. It's just trust with your kid.
To that, I guess maybe the next thing I should ask is the story about, when parents are on their phones, forget about kids on theirs. When parents are on their phones a lot, what happens to their kids? And this is based on a new study that we just came across.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It was published in Frontiers in Developmental Psychology, and they studied kids between the ages of 2.5 and 4 years old, and they found that when parents are using their phones more often around their kids, it affected their ability to develop language skills. It took them longer to learn new verbs if mom and dad were using the phone longer than norm. And the reason that they think that's the case is that if mom and dad are on the phone, they're not actively involved with the children. They're putting a tablet in front of their child, or they're sitting them in front of the screen, and so they don't have a chance to interact with them one-on-one. And so what they're saying is it doesn't matter how old or young your child is, you got to model those right behaviors. If you're telling your kids, don't use screens any longer than you need to, you have to start young with them and put your own phone down and just talk to your child. It's actually a staggering research here because it really does illustrate that it isn't just about the child using the technology, it's about the parents. And we're starting to see more research that sort of bores in on that aspect. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's about parents getting off autopilot, not realizing that actually is working against their kids, not with them. Let me move on to this next story. So September is Suicide Prevention Month. We had a story on this yesterday. We heard from a woman who'd gone through this with a family member. So Meta is doing something here along with the Mental Health Coalition. So explain what this is. It's a data sharing program. How's this going to work? What's it supposed to do?
It is called Thrive, and it is designed to identify I guess let's call it questionable content. For example, when someone is posting content around suicidal ideation, if it's particularly graphic, if there's a viral challenge that includes some of that dark messaging in it, it will be able to, using artificial intelligence, it will be able to detect this content and surface it. And the good thing here is that it isn't just Meta that's making this investment. They've also collaborated with Snapchat, with TikTok, and Meta is deploying this across all of its constituent apps, so Facebook, Instagram, Threads, WhatsApp. And basically what this does, it works cross-platform so that if something is, for example, let's say there's a trend on TikTok where kids are doing something that has some suicidal sort of content or connection, that will then flow through onto, say, Facebook, and Facebook will then detect it as well and put up the appropriate notifications, remind them where they can get help, ensure that these things don't just happen in a vacuum, but it raises awareness of potential suicide-related behavior. And, again, my personal experience, I lost my brother to suicide. This is important to me. It's important to all of us. Chances are suicide has touched all of us in one way, shape, or form. And it's technology like this that can pull it from the depths of social media where it kind of exists in the shadows and make it visible to all of us. And companies like Meta that lead the charge here, I kind of rage on Meta a lot, fairly frequently. This is one case where I'm going to stand up and applaud them, and I think we all should.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly a right step in that direction. Let me go to one last thing before we run out of time. We're not going to talk about the iPhone 16 because it's over and done with. I want to talk about this story that I'm seeing and that you brought up. The new AirPods, right? So these are the AirPod Pros. Apparently, this is a pretty big advancement, not just for sound, not for listening to music, but a much bigger deal than you think when it comes to hearing aid features. What's this about?
This is huge. They introduced an app called Hearing Test, so you can actually just run the app, and you put the AirPods 2 into your ears, and it'll actually test your hearing, and you can do that over time to kind of develop an ongoing picture of your hearing health. Then what they've done is they've actually turned these things into hearing aids. And this isn't just a party trick. This isn't a marketing thing. This is an actual, the Food and Drug Administration in the U.S. last week actually approved the use of AirPods 2 for hearing aids. So this applies if you have fundamental or profound hearing loss, it won't work for you. But for folks with up to moderate hearing loss, they're saying that it can be an absolute game changer because it means that you don't have to go out and buy proprietary, expensive, really fiddly hearing aids. Yeah. I know that my mom has them. She struggles with them. This is a $329 product that I think more people can afford than the current sort of state of the art. It's going to make a huge difference in ensuring that the vast majority of the population has access to better hearing health.
Excellent. Good news. All right. Carmi, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate being here, Aaron. Thank you.